thank you for coming to London. So I know you're traveling around performing and you're a brand ambassador with Telefonica and you're doing a whole bunch of other things. So what's a typical week like for you, Lang Lang?
First of all, thank you, David. It's a great pleasure to be here. I know, you're all great geniuses and going to change the world, I know. So I just came from Berlin yesterday, and the day before I was in Amsterdam, and then the day before I was in France, and then the day before I was doing a Spain tour. So I'm here today in London, tomorrow back to New York. So
have you counted the number of performances you do in a year?
130. Actually, much less than before. It used to be 150, so I reduced a little bit. After I turned 30, it's just fewer.
So you're 31 now, and you're
right.
Technically based in New York, but you're really based in the airport lounge.
Or hotel rooms, whatever. Yeah.
Yep. You've had a particularly remarkable story. So you were age 2, and you were watching Tom and Jerry. Yeah. And there was some Liszt music being played.
Yeah, I was in China, my hometown, Shenyang, and I was watching Tom and Jerry. That was my favorite cartoon, together with Monkey King. I don't know if you know it, but it's very popular in Asia. Yeah, Monkey King. Yeah, and I was extremely excited when Tom started playing Liszt. I didn't know who Liszt was, but I certainly know Tom was a good pianist. Especially, he had a really cool tuxedo with tail. And I asked, by the way, at that time I already have a piano at home. My parents already bought it, so I started imitating Tom.
Your dad was a musician?
Yeah, my father plays Chinese violin. The difference between the Chinese food and Western food is in Chinese food we use chopstick, and then here you have the fork. And then so that's why the Chinese violin only has 2 strings, because of that. So anyway, but I didn't want to. I was thinking, my fork technique probably is better, so I start playing the piano instead of playing my father's instrument.
And you started having lessons, I think, at the age of 3.
Yeah.
And then you were winning prizes within
5.
A couple of years.
Yeah. As a pianist, you need to start early. If you say, "Oh, I start very early," I'm already 10 years old. I'm sorry, you became a dinosaur.
So there's a lot of parents that will push their children into taking up something creative like music.
Yes.
But not many of them in a couple of years will become prize-winning musicians. So what do you think you had that gave you that focus and that determination to master the piano?
Certainly that my neighbors hated me from the very beginning. Every morning, starting to practice at 6 o'clock and, playing those slow scales. Nobody likes it. But we all know from the very beginning of my first time on stage, I know that's the sacrifice you need to make. It's that you need to practice really hard and to achieve what you're going to, what is your goal in future. And for me, when I was 5, I had an interesting experience. The night before my first performance, I was so nervous. So I went to the toilet 10 times. And it was like a nightmare. I couldn't really, concentrate. But then on stage, I was very sleepy. But then, the light comes, and I start playing music, and I thought, wow, this really feels great. And especially afterward, there's a little girl who gave me a flower. And I thought, wow, this is even better. And then guess what? I had a tuxedo with tail. So then I thought, I should actually become a musician, and this will be my dream. But obviously then I realized a lot of practicing, a lot of hard work, and a lot of time you're not spending time with your family. It's absolutely not easy to follow this dream.
But not many 3 or 4-year-olds would be motivated to get up to start practicing at 6 a.m. What do you think inside you drove you to be so good?
First of all, when I was a kid, there's always competitions. And for me, I always want to have a good place in the competitions. And also I was very fortunate because a lot of my friends who actually plays the piano, and that time piano became pretty popular in China. So there are a lot of kids learning piano, and for me, I like to play as well as them, and sometimes I want to be even better. So that drives me to practice hard.
And how much was it parental pressure?
I mean, I got a lot of pressure actually came from my father, because he was the what do you call the pretty strong engine, and sometimes he got nuts, and so I got a lot of pressure. But in the end of the day, he really also support me in a very big ways. So he actually quit his job to be with me. So we left home to Beijing to keep study. And when I was 15, I moved to the U.S. To keep study. Yeah.
So it's an extraordinary childhood, and you were in great demand pretty quickly, and you were traveling around, and it comes with massive attention, massive benefits. But I guess also you don't get the benefits of a conventional childhood. You weren't based in one school with the same circle of friends. Mm-hmm. How hard was that as a child, realizing you couldn't just be like other children?
Yeah, I really hated when I always moving the schools and classes, and in every 2 years I'm in different schools. But then somehow music helped me to communicate with the kids, because I volunteer to accompany our school choirs. So when I start playing for them, and music really makes a good friendship. And so everybody's like, oh, you play music, pretty good. And you play better than our music teacher. That's even better. So that's how I made a lot of friends. Yeah.
So you're a master of your music. There's a bit of a gap between being really good at something and mastery. What do you think it takes to completely dominate, to completely own that instrument?
I'm sorry, I still don't own the instrument. I'm still working hard to get that get that direction. But thank you for your great encouragement. I must say that one of the important things of being a musician is we need to be very focused, very concentrated. When we are performing, when we practice, you need to absolutely turn off your 4G network in your brain. Of course, you should have your 5G networks within the music, and music should be a kind of a center of the universe to open up your imaginations, your brain power, your emotions, your heartbeat. And so we need to be, it's like when you're doing your work, I'm sure that you try to create something like nobody ever done it before, and you want to have a great tradition in mind, but to create something totally new. And this is exactly the same progress when we're practicing a new piece or a big sonata, is that you're trying to learn everything as much as you can from your teachers, from your colleagues, but you don't want to copy them. You want to make your own interpretations. And that interpretations will place you into a different world, which is within the same musical circle.
So there's a famous study by Anders Ericsson that suggests that the difference between people who are good and people who are masters is about 10,000 hours of applying themselves to something.
I think that I got some information from my teacher. One of my teachers was Daniel Barenboim. And he told me that it's very interesting. He said a normal student, let's say from the bad students, okay? So somebody tell you is an idea, you don't use it. So that means you're pretty bad because you don't know how to study. Good student is like you tell him a good idea, he does it. But this is only good students. And very good student is that you're telling him one idea, he developed those 3 ideas. But exceptional talent will be, you gave him 1 point, he developed 100 ways of future ideas. And he gets the best one and he developed it on top of it. Yeah.
So how much practice do you do now on a typical day?
Since I need to play recitals, that's already like 2 hours long. So I practice 2 hours on top. And when I'm traveling, I don't practice because when you travel from here to China or to South America, the whole day is gone.
And what is it every day that inspires you to keep practicing, to keep on? You've achieved everything a musician could want to achieve.
I think this is a forever process of becoming better and deeper understanding in music and in other subjects. And I think for me, obviously, playing concerts is very important in my heart, but also to sharing what I have learned from the past, to share those passion and inspiration to the next generation, for me is very important. Whether the kids really understand music or they don't understand music, I think we have the responsibility to inspire them to understand better. So that's why, through social media, through new technologies, I think this is an even better way to do musical educations from the short music clips, from short music classes, that everybody will get more into it in a more natural way.
So you're at this interesting dichotomy. On the one hand, you're a musical prodigy, playing in Carnegie Hall, playing with the Berlin Philharmonic, the Vienna Philharmonic, and at the same time, you're also a superstar. You reach a mass audience. Your CDs, your albums, are huge sellers. Is there ever any tension? Is there ever any pressure on you to become more populist, maybe to dumb down your approach to music?
For me, that I think is actually not connected, because I think when you play at Carnegie Hall, it's very different than when I opened the Beijing Olympic Games, to do that performance. It's a very different repertoire. It's a very different intention, and it's just when you perform in a great Berlin Philharmonic or the Royal Albert Hall, it's very different than you open a soundtrack for World Cup. It's a different feeling. But I like to have both because, first of all, I believe that great piano music and great classical music has the power to open up everyone's heart, not just like 3% or 2% of the world population. And also, I believe in synergy. So that's why it's a great pleasure for me to come to the Wired conference and also to team up with Telefonica, because we want to create more exciting website, more exciting apps, and to connect people in a much bigger way, and we can synergize our energy together.
So when you're playing to an audience of perhaps 1 billion people, as in 2008 in Beijing, do you get nervous beforehand?
Not really. I went to the toilet 5 times this time, so it's slightly better.
So I'll ask you in a bit about your educational project and your own foundation. But there's quite a lot of people here who are in the creative industries,
yes,
who are in businesses where they're trying to adapt to technological changes. And you're a man whose focus is kind of entirely on putting creativity into your task. So what advice do you have for people in the business world who are thinking, how can I be more creative in my approach?
Right. A few years ago, when the apps just came out the first year, I ran a friend of mine who works in a San Francisco-based company, and it's called Smule, and we talk about how to make the first kind of a piano apps, and then we came up with this idea called Magic Piano. I don't know if you know about it, but anyway, I'm trying to create a software even my father can play, because he doesn't play piano, of course. So then I actually tried with my father. So we put the Flight of Bumblebee, and then I said, just program that, and then please play this, and then he started, and the music runs, and I'm like, wow, that should be pretty fun for a lot of kids. So then we actually had a pretty successful first 2 years with this app, and the idea for me was to have kind of a music app that for everybody, that people kind of enjoy playing it, enjoy doing it, and also they learn a lot of knowledge from playing it. And also you can compose, you can play with others from different part of the world. So that's kind of a very musical oriented apps. But future, we are thinking about how to make ideas regarding how to make people, especially the students, when they learn music, how to make the process more interesting, rather than just the notes, the fingerings. Of course, that's basic things. We need to do that. But how we make them to love to practice, to loving practicing, and that's something a lot of in the future I would like to discuss with many talents that we can figure out.
So it's about designing the experience.
Yeah. Because for me, you can always play the piano with the notes. But the most important thing is not play with the notes. It's what is behind the note, which is the heart. But we all know, push more, and play more with your heart. But how? And that's a question.
Now you're doing a lot with education. You have your own music foundation. You're a UNICEF ambassador. You're an advocate for the UN's Global Education First initiative. What is it that is so important about education to you?
Yeah. When I came to Philadelphia the first year, I realized all my high school friends, they never had a music education at schools. And actually that school doesn't have music class. So then I realized in the world, it's not every place you actually have a music lesson or art lessons class. So then I did research, and then I always get people saying, because the economy is not doing well. Economy is not doing well, so we cut the budget. It's always like that. So then I'm like, as a musician, maybe we should do something. We should get out from practice room. We should maybe practice together with the kid. So then a few years later, I started this project with 100 pianists that we are building the networks in different cities that I will ask for volunteers of music teachers to practice with the kid. And then when I'm in town, we get everybody together, 51 pianos, because you can play four hands. So each of the kid has a partner. So when they practice, it's not like just by yourself, right? So it's like doing homework. So we can learn from each other. And then, we start to play the best classical music pieces, like the Beethoven Symphony No. 5, the piano version, and the Schubert March Militaire, or Mozart, beautiful excerpts from the sonatas, Turkish March. So then the kids get so excited, and then when they talk about this to the other kid, and also when we're doing this project, we're inviting all their friends to come. So for the next years, the friends will take over, so they will play with us. So I did around 20 cities around the world, and now this become an initiative that my foundation is doing regularly every month. So we're going to do that. And also, what I find, we need to focus on the public schools because that's the main problem. So we start this year to work with a very exciting art school in Boston, but they have no budget. So we start to create a new method of teaching kids elementary school and middle school, because they already have a very good model to do it. So we are now implement our talent to their talent, and then we are now buying all the instruments and all the facilities for them, and then we're trying to build a new platforms, and now we're doing it in Boston for 3 years, and hopefully this will be a successful method, and afterward we'd like to do it in other schools around the world.
That's great. So we're fortunate, very fortunate, that this evening after the conference session at Live Wired with O2, you'll be playing the piano at about 10 to 8, we think, for about 20 minutes. But in the short
Very
term...
precise. 10 to 8 for 20. I may need a special shoe to calculate the time.
You can have 22 minutes if you like.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to get a sneak preview now on your Sony tablet.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've got a bit of music and tech combined.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get out of your way, because this is going to be a treat.
So.
Lang Lang with his tablet.
So this is the app I'm co-produced, and you can actually select the songs you want, and doesn't matter you're a pianist or not, you just start playing. And this is a easy piece. It's amazing grace. So. Oh, I played around notes. Yeah. Thank you.